Raceway. It's the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour, the season finale for 1997, and the RE/MAX 300K. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin with Hall of Famer Buddy Baker today to wrap up the 1997 season for the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour. 42 cars are here ready to go, 186 miles, 300 kilometers. Buddy Baker, the championship is still up for grabs here.
Absolutely. Brian Gimoni has a 98-point lead, but that's nothing. That can be wiped out in one corner. They say he has to finish 26th or better to win the championship. Hey, that's a big order here.
He didn't qualify very well. Gimoni will start pretty far back in the field today, and he thinks he's going to have to play kind of a defensive battle here at Phoenix today. Let's find out more about the championship contenders. Let's go downstairs to Glenn Jarrett.
Brian Gimoni's championship drive this season has been fueled by amazing consistency. He has 2 wins, 11 top 5s, and 15 top 10 finishes in only 18 races. That is very, very impressive. And Brian, that kind of consistency is what it's going to take for you to lock up this championship today.
Boy, you said that. Scope Corporation car has been doing really great. Just want to thank Perry Race Cars for all their help, and it's just been a great year. You know, I want to say that whatever happens, it's been a great year, but to win this first championship just means so much to me and the team and everybody.
Well, we want to wish you the best of luck today. We'll be keeping an eye on you, watching after that championship battle. Now Steve Burns is standing by with the guy chasing him.
And Glenn, the numbers for Chris Rodman, equally impressive. 18 starts, 3 wins, 8 top 5, and 12 top 10s. But as Buddy Baker says, he trails Brian Gimoni by 98 points. And Chris Rodman, the 1996 champion, has his work cut out today. He starts 31st. Chris, your strategy, your thoughts going into this race?
Well, you know, we didn't get the qualifying run that we had today, but, you know, this is a long race. We can be up at the front, you know, within 50, 60 laps and have a good race. You know, this Three Rivers Trucking, Dupre Investments, Redline Oil, Chevy, Monte Carlo, it's ran good here at Phoenix before, so we'll be okay by the time the race is over.
All right, best of luck. Let's go upstairs now to Rick and Buddy with the starting lineup.
42 cars ready to take the green here for the RE/MAX 300 coming up in a couple of moments. Let's show you our starting lineup today for the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour. Jim Engelbright, your pole qualifier, alongside Rookie of the Year John Metcalf. He is from Colorado. Second row, last year's winner of this race, Scott Hansen in Kenny Schrader's machine, and John Dillon in the 23. Third row, Sean Monroe, the surfer dude, in his Chevrolet. Rick Crawford jumping into one of the RE/MAX cars today. He's very strong here. Tony Toast and Michael Alsop will be in row 4 today. John Cox and Mark Reed make up your 5th row. Ron Eaton and M.K. Kenke, who won the previous Southwest Tour race. 7th row, Rick Corelli, the High Plains drifter for race sponsor RE/MAX, and Steve Portengay, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series veteran. Brian Gimoni is the point leader in row 8, and Kurt Busch driving the Chris Trickle number 70. Mark Wilson and Craig Rodman, your 9th row. 10th row is Matt Crafton, Monty English in car number 10. He ought to be tough here today. Veteran Bob Lyon in row 11, and Bruce Bechtel in the 4 car. Rick Suran in the 40. That's one of the Pontiacs today. And from Canada, Bill Lawrence in car number 21. John Baker and Winston Cup veteran Greg Sachs in the 13th row. David Karst and Greg Pursley make up your 14th row today. Keith Spankman, Rick Hauswright, Chris Rodman, the defending series champion, and Kirk Grauberger in row 16. Jim Waters and Eddie Bryans, Don Adams, and Keith Mayberry bring up the next couple of rows. Darrell Lamour and Jeff Hill, the 19th row. Gary Smith from British Columbia, Canada, and Mike Brummett in car number 47. And the final row, Doyle Olson in car number 67, and Doug McCowan in the Wins Pontiac, car number 34. Problems putting him at the back of the grid. Buddy, when we were here 1 year ago, it was a windy, sandy, dusty day, but the weather couldn't be better this afternoon.
It's beautiful here, and all the cars are running so well in practice here. Just a few spin outs and things like that, but the week has just been perfect.
Field out of turn 2, ready to take the green. We'll show you some in-car looks today. Rick Corelli, the High Plains drifter in the RE/MAX Chevrolet, will have one of our cameras on board today, and he will be strong. Greg Sachs back in 26th. He's looking for a good run. Told me he liked the way the car felt to him, so he may get up there and be competitive as well. And M.K. Kenke will also give you an in-car picture today. He's starting in the 12th spot outside row number 6. Ready to go racing, 42 cars and some great drivers here.
You can hear the motor there. It's ready, too. They're coming around now. They should get the green flag this time by.
If you're familiar with these type of cars, very, very similar to the NASCAR Slim Jim All-Pro Series in terms of car specifications. Mostly a field of Chevrolet Monte Carlos, some Pontiac Grand Prix, one Thunderbird, one Buick in the field, too. Pace cars in, ready to go green here at Phoenix. Glad you're with us today on TNN Motorsports. Jim Engelbright in the yellow number 20 brings him under green, and we are underway. Engelbright and Metcalf down into turn number 1, and Engelbright on the low side is your early leader.
see Metcalf fighting back on the outside there as they start down the back straightaway. Very unique racetrack here. It has a little dog leg in the middle of the back straightaway. Englebright now takes the lead.
Englebright and John Dillon there in the 23 for second spot out of turn 4. Scott Hansen, who won this race a year ago, in third. He's got a battle on his hands. Rick Crawford stepping into the 15 car this weekend, and he is outside looking for third spot. Englebright is your leader up onto the back straightaway for the first time. Great battle there for third. Hansen in the green 52, and Doug McCowan. Doug McCowan, who started at the back of the field in the Wins car, he's in the wall hard.
He's wanting out of there pretty bad right now. You see the fire coming across the racetrack there. That means the fuel line or either the fuel pump has broke off that car, and that's fuel running across the racetrack that you see.
So McCowan in trouble early on here today. He's up between turns 1 and 2. Flames out on the racetrack right now. McCowan, they had to put the car at the back of the field because the front end was a little too wide under tech inspection. And there's McCowan outside the racetrack, obviously shaken up a little bit, but out of the car safely. And we are going to have safety crews out there quickly.
Rick on the second lap of the race. I know he was expecting a good run. Had a minor infraction as far as the width on the front of that car. That's why he had to start in the back of the field. And boy, you can see a lot of damage to the right front corner. And the other thing they had to do is wait to get across the racetrack there because race cars were coming around the racetrack. So they'll get this fire put out pretty quick here now.
Doug McCowan, a veteran of the series, 5th in Southwest Tour points coming in here this weekend to the season finale, but his day is over early. Back with more at Phoenix in a moment. Car leading him out of turn 4. It will dive onto pit road. Jim Englebright in the yellow number 20, a restart leader. John Dillon in the 23 will restart second. That's Rick Crawford in the blue and white Remax machine, and Scott Hansen, the defending winner of this race, right behind him in the Skoll Budweiser machine from the Kenny Schrader shops. John Cox in the 66 down into turn 1. Monty English right with him there in the 07 car. Leaders on the backstretch. Englebright very quick here this weekend, buddy.
Oh, he looks very good. The yellow car there leading the race, that's Englebright. You know, he goes all over the country. Just a couple of weeks ago, he's in Nashville, Tennessee, racing up there. So, yeah, he likes to race no matter where he's at.
Lead cars down into turn 1. No change among the top 4. That's Rick Crawford, the NASCAR All-Pro Series star from Mobile, Alabama, steering the 15 this weekend. Englebright in the 20, the Wonder Bar Chevrolet. Out in front with Dillon second. Show you here out of turn 4. This is as the cars were coming down to take the restart green. Little contact.
Oh, hello.
Bob Lyon with a little help from behind there. The 22 of Greg Pursley from Newhall, California. Getting into the back end of Lyon. Lyon, one of the real veterans of this series.
Well, that's the one good thing of running Bias-Ply tires. If that had been on radial tires, that little bump right there that crossed you up could have put you around. But with the Bias-Ply tire, they're more forgiving, and you can catch back up on the race car.
Leaders down into turn number 3. Let's check back out on pit road. Steve Burns.
And guys, tires are always a big story at any race. Now the tire rule here in Phoenix, they get 2 tires only under caution, as many as they want under green, and they can mount up as many tires as they want during the race. We talked to Rick Corelli's crew, and they said they're probably going to put on rights, then lefts, then rights. So Corelli's bunch betting on 3 pit stops in today's race.
Just the way we saw it before the caution. Scott Hansen battling for third spot there with Rick Crawford. They're side by side. Now Hansen squirts in front of the green and red machine to take over third. Right behind him in 5th is Sean Monroe, who's been faster this weekend too.
Well, Surfer dude, he's on the move there. He's the number 48 car, the white car there, following the 15 down in the corner. Very, very strong. Ron Hornaday has a lot to do with this race car. He built the chassis on it and also went over and helped the Sean Monroe this morning in practice and really picked him up from 20th to 5th in qualifying.
There's your lead battle. The 20 of Jim Englebright is out in front. The 23 of John Dillon right behind him. Hansen is third. A little bit out of your picture there. We put 14 laps on the board this afternoon. Hansen in the 52 in third. Last year, Buddy Hansen waited until the late stages to make his run to victory.
He is one of the real technicians on slick racetracks. He has a lot going for him. You can see as the track starts to get a little slicker now. Hansen in the 52 there, moving right up on Dillon's back bumper. We have a car that's apparently lost a motor there. You can see him coming down. That's the 65 car.
65 of Jeff Hill from Hanford, California, the Roberts Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Leaders cars down the main straightaway. 170 trips to go here this afternoon. Hansen third, running a little higher line than the other 2 leaders going into one.
What he's doing, he's taking a little pressure off the tires to get maximum grip, and he's not pinching the car right on the bottom of the racetrack. His tires will last a lot longer by not punishing them in the corner.
Your leader is Engelbright in the 20. That's the yellow car. John Dillon in the 23 a second. Hansen third in the 52 as they power out of turn 4. These are 2,900-pound race cars. They run a 358 motor with a 4-barrel carburetor, just like the NASCAR All-Pro Series. Very fast around here.
Very similar. Like you said, 2,900 pounds. They run a 390 Holly carburetor, and they do a real nice job. They get good gas mileage. The cars are light enough that they don't kill the tires every time you go through a corner, so it makes for great racing. And anybody that's ever been to an All-Pro race knows that these cars, they run very, very competitive racing no matter where they go.
The Southwest Tour comes to Phoenix twice each year. They run in February in the Copper World Classic, and then here in the late stages of the season when the Winston Cup cars come to Phoenix as well. The 2 leaders going by down into 3. There's Sean Monroe in the 48. He's 5th. Top 5 lapping some of the back markers now. Let's head to pit road. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, as I said, my vantage point is down here between turns 1 and 2, and I'm watching Sean Monroe, who's doing a good job at 5th place right now, but he's got a problem developing. A lot of smoke coming out of that car as he goes through turns 1 and 2. We're coming by right now, and there you can see it. If you can see it on the screen, the smoke coming out of the back of the car. Boy, he's got a problem. That's got to be an oil leak, I think, or he may have gotten into somebody. I can't see the right side of the car. Maybe there's some damage there that he has a tire rubbing when the body rolls over on the thing on the right-hand side when he goes in the corner.
Monroe's 7th in series points right now. Really couldn't see much in the way of smoke out of the car that last time by.
Well, Glenn has a very good spot to look from going into turn 1. You have the sun going across the racetrack there. And if there's any smoke at all, you can pick it up through the sunlight. We can't see anything up here, but if Glenn Jarrett tells you there's smoke, you can believe there's smoke.
Monroe's still on the gas pretty hard. He's right behind Rick Crawford, battling for 4th. Meantime, battle for the lead. The 23 of Hansen right behind Jim Englebright's 20 out of turn 4 as they battle it out to the top spot.
You know, John Dillon in the 23 there is doing a super job. You see everybody kind of taking their time now. They're running into lap traffic right now. The one thing you have to have a lot of patience. Here comes John Dillon right on the bottom there. He's making himself known right now.
Englebright picking his way through lap traffic. Dillon tried to use a slower car as a pick there to get around Englebright for the lead. Couldn't do it. Here's the 8 car. That's Sean Monroe's backup machine, and that's veteran Gary Smith from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Wrecked his main car, his 79 car that he was so quick with here a year ago, and they borrowed the 8 to go racing here today.
That's Sean Monroe. He's quite a deal. I tell you, he said, hey, tore his car up. I let him have my backup car. These guys really get along well. They loan each other things. They work together. It's not the pressure pack things. It's like a Western Cup guy. If somebody has trouble, they don't go and help them. But here, they don't mind a bit.
Englebright with his mirrors full of the 23 of Hansen, slipping up a little high out of 4, but Hansen can't capitalize, so the lead battle stays Englebright out in front. Hansen, or rather Dillon, sitting second in the 23. Hansen in the 52 is third. Let's go back to pit road. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, as I said, down here in turns 1 and 2, I'm at the very end of the pit spaces, and we were talking about Gary Smith being in the backup car, and I gave you some wrong information earlier, Rick. Gary didn't really crash the car. I'm standing next to the car down here. It is perfect. There's only one problem. The engine's blown. The engine is blown in the car. You can see the car here right now, but he's okay. So he'll take us to task. If he wrecked the car, he'll say, no, I didn't. And folks back home, for Gary Smith, he's right. He didn't wreck. He just croaked the engine.
Well, that's an accident of another sort, I guess, when your motor lets go. Certainly not intentional. Rick Corelli in the Remax 6 on the move as we jump inside his Chevrolet.
Boy, oh boy, you can see he stuck the nose of that race car right down there. Rick Corelli has won this race several times in this particular division. You can see down the front straightaway, long front straightaway down into the corner here. You kind of stay low. You see a car there smoking as they go through the corner.
That's Monroe in the 48. That's what Glenn was talking about before. It is starting to lay some smoke down onto the left side going into turn 1.
But you see it's not doing it now. That's the thing. It is down in the corner. It seems to be when he's deaccelerating just a little bit that he has the problem.
Now Corelli has just bypassed Steve Portengay. That was Portengay in the 14. that Corelli had drawn the beat on. Corelli got by him on the backstretch last time around, so give Rick Corelli 6th spot now as he closes in on Monroe. We've got one car off the pace. Looks like the 24 machine off the pace. That's Jim Waters from Kearns, Utah, in the Portical Chevrolet. And we have caution on the speedway. That's a Pontiac. Let's make it. And the 24 in some trouble. So we're under caution for the second time this afternoon. We've run nearly 30 miles at Phoenix. Rally for these machines. We covered earlier on the battle for the season championship. Right now, Brian Germoni, the point leader, needs to finish 26th or better. Germoni, as we prepare to restart, running down in 17th spot, so he's got plenty of cushion there. But car number 2, one of the drivers, one of the Rodman brothers, contending for the championship directly in front of him. So Craig Rodman and Germoni certainly going at it here in the early part of this battle. We take you inside some of our in-car camera machines, and the 6 of Rick Corelli carrying one of our cameras. He'll restart in 6th spot right behind Sean Monroe, and he's a driver who's been very strong early, Buddy Baker. Engelbright leads him out of turn 4, but I think Corelli may be a factor here.
Corelli's ready to pounce on these guys. He's got a great race car. He's a very patient race driver, and he knows what it takes to win. You see him right there getting on the outside of Sean Monroe.
Wow.
In the 6th car there, you're riding with him, as a matter of fact, as we head off the corner. Corelli's got a bullet here today.
Corelli on the move, gobbles up a couple of cars right behind his teammate now. Rick Crawford driving the 15. Davey Lee Liniger is normally the driver of that car. He's got some cracked ribs, so he decided to step to the sidelines today. He's a rookie contender in the Southwest Tour. So Rick Crawford, the All-Pro veteran, now in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and doing very nicely from Mobile, Alabama. Jumping into the 15 car. Gives the spot up, though, to Corelli.
Whoa.
So Corelli, and there's contact. Portengay gets into Crawford down there.
I think he crossed it up just enough that he didn't get into him, but it was very, very close. These guys are really going at it right now. You see the 15 there, Crawford. He's really getting around the racetrack well, but you notice who is checked out there. Corelli's moved into 4th now, really doing a great job.
Meantime, battle for the lead. Scott Hansen is 3rd. John Dillon in the 23 is 2nd. Engelbright holding on to the point, but he's got his hands full as we watch the battle. Quickly to pit road, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, we were talking about the smoke on Sean Monroe's car, so I came down here to ask the guys what it is. This is his crew chief, Terry Henry. And Terry, what is all that smoke we're seeing in 1 and 2?
Well, we run our fenders so close to the tires here. I think we got a right front tire just barely touching when he gets in the turns there. I don't think it's nothing to worry about. It's just on the sidewall. I don't think it's nothing to worry about right now.
Well, that's good news certainly for them. We were suspecting that it might be oil smoke, but not the case.
So Sean Monroe stays at speed, but drops back to 7th spot. Rick Corelli on the move. He is 3rd.
The High Plains drifter's moving like a lightning rod right now. I mean, look at this guy go down the back straightaway. Now he closes in 2 car lengths down into turn 3 there. This car is stuck to the racetrack like none other right now.
Corelli started 13th today. 35 laps in. He is 3rd. He has 1 here. In fact, 1 here back in February for the Southwest Tour. Part of the Copper World Classic, a 50-mile sprint. Corelli, the winner of that race, back to start the 1997 season. May double up here today. Scott Hansen, the defending winner of this event, though, right there in 4th spot as well. Right now, though, it's John Dillon in the 23 who's got his mirrors full of Corelli.
Well, John Dillon probably looking one eye in the mirror and one on Engelbright just in front of him there. You can see the car is getting a little bit loose in the back there. This is about the time the tires get a lot of heat on them, and they lose a little bit of grip, but they are bias-fly tires, and that's nothing unusual to see them slide a little bit.
Now, as we heard from Steve Burns a few moments ago, a couple of these teams looking at 2, maybe 3 pit stops in the course of this race, and we're going 186 trips around the 1 mile oval at Phoenix International today. Leaders down into 3. It's still Engelbright in the 20 out front. Look at Corelli look low.
What he's doing right now, he's trying to find a place that he can pass these guys, but they're running a perfect line right now, and that's a quick way around the racetrack. He can't pull out and just pass these guys like he did some of the cars that were having a little bit of handling problems. These cars are really stuck to the racetrack. You can see Dillon's car able to turn hard left in the center part of the corner and get great drive off.
Leaders down the back straightaway through the dog leg. Dillon sitting 2nd in the 23. Engelbright on the pole here this weekend is led from the start. Corelli again looks low, as you were saying, buddy. Looks like he's got the car that will work down low compared to the other leaders.
Yeah, I think Dillon right now can run closer to the yellow line right around the base of the racetrack. But the biggest thing right now, one little slip, Corelli could go from 3rd to 1st.
Back on the button as they come off of 2. There's Hansen in 4th spot.
That's what I was going to tell you. Scott Hansen there in that Bud car. He's no pushover, and this racetrack, as slicker it gets, the faster he'll run. And you watch him, he'll be right up there, and he'll make it 4 for the run. And just behind him, Rick Crawford doing a great job in the 15 car.
Crawford and then Sean Monroe the rest of the first 6. Leaders down into 1. Corelli to the inside for second spot. But look at that. Dillon around the outside, very strong.
Well, he's pretty much, you watch him when they go down into turn 3 now. The 23 car will drive way down in the corner, but you see he had to give way there. Corelli takes over second.
Rick Corelli by a car length as they race into 3 and 4 here at Phoenix International Raceway and give Corelli second spot. He's gained 11 spots in about 40 laps. That is impressive. There's Hansen with Crawford right behind him. Hansen is 4th, Crawford 5th, and Monroe is 6th. And now Crawford wants to sneak inside and take 4th away from Scott Hansen. Looks like he might do it.
You see Crawford there. He's driving this car for an injured driver and doing a great job. Probably never sat down in this race car until the first day of practice here. Doing a great job staying right with the leaders.
Jim Engelbright is still out in front in car number 20, right behind him. Second place car for Corelli. Let's find out more on Corelli's effort today. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm standing by with Rick Wren, and Rick is also the crew chief on their NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Everton. Boy, did you ever light a fire under him today?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. He said that car was awful good since he unloaded it, and it just slid with him a little bit in qualifying. He goes, hey, I'm not going to worry about it.
Rick, have you got pretty much the entire truck crew here with you now working your car?
I didn't hear you very good, Glenn, but I'll tell you what. Rick's won the last 2 Copper Classics with that car here. That car is just really good at this racetrack. And I tell you what, those Remax guys, they work the extra effort to try to get that touring car done and keep the trucks running too.
Okay, he did answer my question even though he didn't hear it. And Corelli, awesome at this racetrack every time we come here.
Very, very stout here this weekend. There's your leader, Engelbright. Corelli as we're on board. The Remax Chevrolet riding second down into turn number 1. 44 laps on the board of 186, and Jim Engelbright is your leader. Welcome back to Phoenix. Lead change down into turn 3. Corelli is powered by to grab the point.
Engelbright in the 20 there dropped from 1st to 3rd right now. On the outside, John Dillon in the 23 there takes over second.
Dillon strong on the outside, put Engelbright back in 3rd. If you're keeping score at home, your leader now Corelli. And Engelbright seems to be slipping off the pace.
I think so. Just behind him, Rick Crawford in the 15 there driving the wheels off of that car. You can see right now that Sean Monroe is not smoking in the far end of the racetrack. We reported earlier in the race that he's smoking, but it seems to be all in turn 1 and 2. I do not understand why.
Corelli now opening up several car lengths over John Dillon in the 23. The 20 of Engelbright hanging in there in 3rd spot. Crawford is 4th. Monroe is 5th. See a little tire smoke, we're told, from the left side of the 48 car. Corelli starting to drive away. 46 miles complete. Probably 15 laps or so from green flag pit stops for tires. Based on the information we had earlier, many of the lead teams, many of the cars that are fast here this weekend, talking about at least 2 tire stops. And could be a case of where Engelbright's tires have just started to give up a little bit as we close in on 50 miles.
They're black flagging Steve Portengate for some reason. I don't know why, but I noticed as they come by in the 14 car that they have the black flag out. So maybe we'll find out in a little while what happened there.
Brian Germoni looking to clinch the Southwest Tour Championship here this weekend in car number 5. Running 16th. He needs 26th or better to win the title.
You can see Bobby Lyons there in the 44. He's smoking a little bit down into turn 1 also.
Lyon, a great veteran of this series, as is Germoni. Hasn't yet won the championship, but gunning for his first here this season. Second place in the point battle to Chris Rodman in the 93. He has gained a couple of spots, but not nearly enough. He needs to win this race to have a shot at the championship. Deeper in the pack, Portengate in the 14 there as we look at some lap traffic up in turn 3. It looked like the 93 of Rodman about to go a lap down. He's on the inside coming out of turn 4 as the leaders go by. There's the 93. Started back in 31st spot, Chris Rodman. Redding, California, hoping to win his second consecutive Southwest Tour Championship here this weekend, but doesn't look like it's in the cards for him. We are still early in the going. He's completed 50 miles here. Rodman with 3 wins on the season, heading into the 19th and final race of 1997. Corelli, still your leader. number 6. Dillon in the 23. That's the red machine right behind. Lap traffic ahead of the leaders. 76 going another lap down there. Eddie Bryan's about to hole in California. Got a glimpse of Corelli. Here's Engelbright still third in the 20. Crawford in the 15 is fourth. And then Monroe in the 48 running fifth.
Sean Monroe there in the 48. Whatever his problem is must not be that very. It can't be that bad because he's keeping up with these cars. And if it was something that was internal, boy, it's still smoking there just a little bit. That could be a tire rubbing on the inside of the frame or anything, though. You can't really tell.
Corelli's opened up more than 2 seconds over Engelbright, who was the pole qualifier this weekend and led the first 35, 40 miles. Is Engelbright just saving his car, buddy?
I don't know. He's dropped off a pretty good bit right now. He's like 4 or 5 seconds back. So if he's holding back, he's doing a good job of it. You can see right now Rick Crawford's looking on the inside trying to get by him.
Lapping by the number 41 machine. There's Monroe with a little of that tire smoke.
Oh.
Now Engelbright under pressure from Crawford.
Boy, they come awful close there. You can see Rick Crawford get his car out of shape just a little bit trying to get by Engelbright. Drop back about 4 or 5 car lengths, gathering it back up. Now he'll have to do it all over again. Run him down and try to get by him.
Some of the teams starting to bring their drivers onto pit road here. We're getting close to the 60 lap mark. Some of the teams deciding it's time for tires. The important guy among those on pit road. There you see Monroe riding 5th. Engelbright there in the yellow 20. He is 3rd. Scott Hansen has dropped back. Now Hansen was up in the top 3 early, but Hansen has drifted back to 8th spot right now. In car number 52 out of the Kenny Schrader shops.
You can see him working very, very hard right now. He's very particular about how the car handles, though, and he may have a problem being a little bit loose or pushing a little bit. And these are adjustments. When they make their pit stops, they can change with the stagger in the tires, also with the chassis adjustments. So don't count him out yet. He's a very good race car driver, and he can adjust that car and get back in the action.
Hansen in the red machine with the Bud on the back of it directly in front of M.K. Kankey, who won at Mesa Marin 1 week ago. Kankey is 8th, giving us those in-town pictures. There's Engelbright and Crawford again, battling for 3rd spot. Engelbright in car number 20. That's the yellow machine up into turn 2. Crawford right behind him in the blue and white 15 car.
You see Crawford really gain up out of the corner there on Engelbright, but Engelbright seems to get off in the corner a little bit better, so it's going to be tough to pass him. He's going to have to slip or something for Crawford to make the pass on Engelbright.
Meantime, Corelli has just started to drive away from the field. He's opened up 1 3/4 seconds, make it 2 seconds on Dillon now, and almost 4 on Engelbright as Engelbright works his way by one of the lapped cars, the 18 car there. That's John Baker, Tucson, Arizona, local driver in the white machine.
You can see as they can work through this traffic here, it's very, very difficult at this racetrack for the lap traffic to get out of the way, because the preferred line is around the bottom of the racetrack, and when they want to get out of the way, of course, they pull down. You can see right there that one car there just moved over to the right-hand side of the racetrack to give them running room on the bottom, but a lot of times when they move to the bottom, they cut off your angle to get off the corner.
Jim Engelbright up in 3rd. Now the 18 kind of blocking Rick Crawford there briefly. Crawford and Monroe. Look at Monroe take advantage to the inside of the 48. Sean Monroe tried him off of 2, didn't have enough.
Well, he'll come back. I tell you what, Sean Monroe is a good race car driver, and his hero is, of course, Ron Hornaday, who does a lot of work on this car for him.
The 18, as we mentioned, John Baker, not in the lead group. He has been lapped in the Mid-States car. Crawford is 4th. Monroe is 5th. Monroe, a young guy with plenty of potential in the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour. Battle for position between the 15 and the 48 down in turn 3. 60 miles complete. 186 miles, 300 kilometers here at Phoenix International Raceway. We're glad to have you with us on TNN Motorsports. As we watch some of the other cars come out of turn 4, let's head down to pit road. Steve Burns.
Yeah, Buddy Baker asked moments ago about Steve Portengay and why he received the black flag. Talked to the crew. They said there's an oil leak, so they came in. They We also just got this piece of information. Chris Rodman, the guy who's in second place chasing Germoni, they think he has an ignition box problem. He's not pulling much speed down the straightaways.
Wow. So that could very well decide the championship right there. Chris Rodman in the 93, off the pace. He's back in 26th spot. He's about 10 spots behind Brian Germoni, and he needs to gain 98 points behind, buddy, as you talked about coming into the show, as we see Rodman down the main straightaway.
Well, you can see Rodman's really not the fastest car out there right at the moment, and you know, when you come down this close to the end of the year, you always think, yeah, I still have a chance, but that has to be devastating to think your car may be off just a little bit, and you can see the championship flying out the window.
Brian Germoni adding to his lead the way things currently stand. Germoni in car number 5, sitting in 18th spot. One story we need to put a button on for you back at the top of the broadcast. 2 laps in, Doug McCowan got up into the turn 2 wall. Steve Burns, what's his situation now?
Rick, the news from the infield medical center is he's up and walking around, but he is complaining of pain in his chest area. They're going to send him to a local hospital for chest x-rays, but he is up walking around. Just got some tender ribs.
As we take you inside and give you a look at the race leader at Phoenix International Raceway. Back with more in just a moment. National Raceway on TNN Motorsports, the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour. Rick Benjamin and Buddy Baker. Glenn Jarrett on pit road for us with Steve Burns. Glenn, what's the situation now?
Okay, guys, sorry, we were talking about how bright the sun is now that it's setting in the west. I think it does that every day, doesn't it? Well, anyway, it's real bright down there in 1, and we're asking Rick Wren if Corelli was having any problem seeing, and he said no, they got the windshield taped pretty heavily, and you can see it. The whole top third of the windshield's taped off, so sun's not giving him a problem. Steve Burns?
Yeah, Chris Rodman was just in the pits, Glenn. They had a bad pit stop. We're going to check with crew chief Ted Kennedy here momentarily about the ignition box problem, but they had problems on the left rear, so that championship slipping further away for Chris Rodman.
Rodman with troubles. He's been struggling all weekend. They weren't happy at all with their qualifying effort back in 31st. They haven't gained much ground at all. Meantime, Corelli has set sail. A couple of seconds the advantage over Dillon.
Boy, Billy Lawrence is giving him a handful right now. Corelli's done everything trying to get by him, and you can see right now he's making that 21 car very, very wide as Corelli tries to put him a lap down.
Lawrence from Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, a Northwest Tour regular, coming down to run with the Southwest Tour Stars this weekend here at Phoenix. Great crowd on hand. Hey, you see it, buddy. Again, Corelli can't get by him.
Well, eventually, Corelli, I'm telling you,
man,
he's got his hands full right now. Bill Lawrence is doing everything he can, trying to stay in the lead lap. And these guys will do that for a while, but I'm going to tell you something. Corelli's the type of guy, and just right now, it's over with.
He won't take that for too long.
No, he'll eventually put the move on him.
Corelli moves by Lawrence to put him a lap down. Finally, 70 laps complete here at Phoenix today of 186. And Rick Corelli with a 1.2-second lead. John Dillon took advantage of that to close in a little bit, but he's still not in striking distance. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, while you were talking about that, I was watching Rick Wren talk to the NASCAR official about the problem that Corelli was having lapping that 21 car. And there's one reason that it was made so easy for him there all at once. It's a 2-syllable word called NASCAR. They got on the radio and said, hey, get out of the way. So he did.
That's part of the learning process, knowing to pay attention to the track officials and the sanctioning body officials when they're asking you for some help. As Corelli runs down into turn 1 all by himself, lap trap. Whoa, the 76 spins in front of the leader. Into the wall, back in first. That's trouble indeed for Eddie Bryans from El Cajon, California. Corelli almost got gathered up in that.
Boy, in turn 2, that's a very, very difficult spot for people when you spin. You see how dark it is there. The sun is really behind the signboards there in turn 1 and 2. And when you go out of the sun and a car spins like that and the smoke flies up, you can't see a thing.
Wow. So a close call for race leader Rick Corelli. Caution on the speedway with 73 laps complete. We'll show it to you one more time as they race down into 1.
You see Corelli in the 6 there. Now you can see the 76 there getting sideways. Now look at Corelli go right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Near miss there.
76 car. Eddie Bryans had been lapped by Corelli earlier. We'll show it to you from on the backstretch.
Well, that looked a little easier there. It looked like he had about a car length there to get by on the inside, but still I'm sure Corelli was really concerned going into the corner and seeing the car get sideways.
Meantime, Greg Sachs, the Winston Cup veteran in car number 77, looks like his afternoon is over. Leaders on pit road.
Boy, they're coming now. I guarantee you they'll be adjusting on these cars. Everybody but Corelli, he's doing so well. I'm not sure they'll work on this.
Hold on 4 new Goodyears probably and send him away, you think. All right, let's cover the pit stops. First, Ledger.
And Rick Corelli brings his Chevy in. We'll put the stopwatch on him and see how he does. And they're only going to change right side tires. The tire rule here, guys, is only 2 tires per caution. So they've gone to the right side. They're putting fuel in the car. Rick was due in around lap 85 or 86 anyway. Gas is done. And let's see. They got him down. He's down and away. Wow. 16.82 seconds. That's a great pit stop.
That's a Winston Cup type stop almost, you'd say there. And for these teams that don't normally service these Southwest Tour cars, a lot of their races are 200 laps on a half-mile oval. So a pit stop normally isn't something that they're going to have to make very often. Jim Englebright stopping way up around turn 1 and 2. And the man with the paddle at the end of pit road, the NASCAR official says the track is open and you can go. So Englebright getting his service. He'll come back out in the pack. I think Englebright may be a factor here too before this.
I think so. He looks very good on the racetrack. Corelli, they didn't change one thing on that car. If they did, it was in stagger. It certainly was not any weight adjustments on the springs itself. So I think Corelli's pretty happy with his car on long run. Look at this guy. He looked like a guy in the office. It's just another day at the office.
Just adjusting things, taking a drink of water, and getting ready to go racing here again in a moment or two as they work to remove the 76 car from the second corner. Back to pit road, Steve Burns.
And remember, Brian Germoni came into this race with a 98-point lead over Chris Rodman, trying to win his first championship in the Southwest Tour division. He's coming to the attention of his crew. Talked to the guys on the team. They said he was complaining of the car being loose. Remember, under caution, they're only supposed to take 2 tires. They're going to change right side tires on Brian Germoni. Also should update you, Chris Rodman is having problems. They talked about an ignition box problem. Germoni's team getting the tires on, and he's got gas he needs. They're looking at the left rear tire, looking at the left rear. Everything okay. Let's go back now to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Steve. And these are the right side tires that came off Rick Corelli's car. Now, these are Goodyear bias ply tires. They're not the radial tires that we used to seeing in the Truck Series, the Busch, and the Winston Cup Series. These tires grow a lot more, so therefore they check the stagger. That's the first thing they do. The stagger, they simply put a tape measure in one of the grooves here, run it all the way around the tire to see how much that tire has grown. That greatly affects the way the car drives, the way that it handles on the racetrack. Looking at the tire wear on these things, after about 75 laps, these things look great. They look almost brand new. The rest of this field's in big trouble.
Field behind the safety car up in turn 3. The track is clear up in the second corner, so we ought to be set to restart here shortly. As Corelli brings him around, safety car dives in. Corelli restarting about 7th on the speedway, although he is being shown as the race leader. Green is out. We're back underway. Michael Alsop in the 61 takes him down into turn number 1. The 22 of Persley right back there with him. And there's the 93 of Rodman as they come out of turn 2.
This is the most dangerous time on the speedway. When you have restarts like that, you can see Corelli getting kind of hung up there. As you said, look at Englebright now. He's moved into second, right on the back bumper of Corelli as they go through the flat part of this racetrack, under the walkover bridge, and head down the front straightaway.
Dillon in the 23, not in the mix up front at the moment, so he's having problems. As we see Corelli and Englebright down into turn number 1, working by some slower cars. There's Crawford in the 15, up to 3rd spot now, and Monroe right with him in 4th. And then there's Hansen back there.
Well, Hansen's going to be there. I tell you, he's very, very consistent, and his line around the racetrack does a nice job, but he's not up to speed with Corelli right at the moment.
Corelli putting plenty of heat on the 93 of Rodman. Chris Rodman moves to the inside to let Corelli go by. Rodman seeing his shot at a title perhaps go away here in the early going. What do you think, Steve Burns?
And Rick, we're with Ted Kennedy, Chris Rodman's crew chief. You guys are having a rough afternoon, Ted. What's been holding you back?
Well, I think we got an ignition problem. We didn't notice it. We only got one ignition. He says it's real flat coming down the straightaway. All we can do right now is try to run it the best we can. You know, we're out there trying to finish this thing. You know, Three Rivers Trucking, Dupre Investments. You know, we're just trying to do the best we can out here. We just had a rough weekend. We got a brand new car in the shop right now. Couldn't get it ready to go because of a race prior to that. But he's just out there running his heart out. We're just trying to do what we can do right now.
All right, short afternoon, tough afternoon for Chris Rodman in the 93.
Rodman on the low side, letting the leaders move by. Meantime, Corelli scoots away. Englebright there. Monroe getting hung up now behind the 93. Rodman moves to the outside. Look at Hansen on the move.
Well, Scott Hansen's dropping back. He's on the move, but he's going the wrong direction right at the moment. He's making it 3 wide down the front straightaway, though. The 48 car of Sean Monroe got by him just a second ago, and right now I think Scott Hansen has a problem in the middle part of the corner.
Monroe, meantime, very strong. He races to the inside of the 22 of Kersley. We jump on board with M.K. Kankey in the 87 machine. Kankey up to 6th spot right now, and 1 car in trouble. That's the 40. Looks like a blown motor for Rick Suran from Portland, Oregon. Suran off the pace and down to the inside. The Jody's Bar and Grill East Side Paving Pontiac. So with 105 laps to go, Kankey goes around him. The 15 of Crawford getting passed by Kankey. So M.K. Kankey up to 5th now. Crawford gets shuffled back to 6th. There's Ron Eaton in the 07 moving under Rodman. He's got the deuce of Craig Rodman up in front. Eaton, the great veteran from Washington, on the outside. And we check back in on the leader, Rick Corelli, in car number 6. A second and a half to the good over Jim Englebright. There's Englebright's yellow machine coming out of turn 2. The 6 of Corelli with lap traffic in front. All alone out in front. Back to pit road, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, I talked with Rick Green, Corelli's crew chief, about what they did to the car during that pit stop. Obviously, we saw them change right side tires. Rick had reported the car was getting just a little bit loose right before that caution came out, so they closed the stagger up. In other words, decreased the difference between the circumference of the left rear and the right rear tire to make the car a little bit tighter. Looks like it's working really well right now. Rick also reports there's a lot of grease and oil on the racetrack. It's getting slick out there.
Yeah, you can see that from up here, Glenn. Every time you look out there, somebody's getting a black flag right now because there are several cars with oil leaks out on the racetrack.
84 miles complete. Rick Corelli in car number 6 has the point. Jim Englebright and Scott Hansen has moved back to 3rd, so he's going pretty well again. We'll be back in spot all alone in the 52. Steve Burns, what's the story? Hansen needs a jump seat in that car?
Well, you know, you guys talked about the fact that he had slid back a little bit, but now charging back to the front, he was loose on the last pit stop. They changed right side tires, and he's got the car back to where he likes it. Now, as you talked about the jump seat, that car is owned by Ken Schrader. He has a companion with him. Scott Hansen does. It is Charlotte the Pig, and Buddy Baker knows all about Charlotte.
Well, they won this pig at the State Fair right down the road here in Phoenix, and they put it in the race car. You can see he's got his little bubble goggles there, and the first time that Kenny Schrader had it in the car, he won the race here. So he gave it to Scott Hansen. He said he didn't take care of Charlotte the last time he ran. Almost broke his neck in Atlanta, so he put him with Scott Hansen. Said maybe he can do a better job. Right now, I wouldn't count him out because he's gaining on Rick Crawford.
Maybe Charlotte's acting as an onboard spotter.
He's gaining on Rick Corelli now. You can see he's within 5-6 car lengths now as they head down the front straightaway. He's really coming up on him fast.
Hansen cutting the lead inside of 1 second that Corelli has. We're past halfway. Closing in on 100 miles here in just a couple of moments out of 186 trips today around the Phoenix International Mile. There's Hansen. Look at that. He's drawn right up on the back deck of Corelli.
Yeah, I think Rick Corelli right now is just, he's not running as fast as he was before he made the adjustment on the pit stop.
Going to show you what happened here earlier when Bill Lawrence in the 21 went around. We thought this might bring out a caution, but Lawrence was able to get it backed off the racetrack and then get it refired, pointed in the right direction. No harm done.
Yeah, you could see he was letting the car freewheel there to get out of the way. But look at this battle for the lead right now. Rick Corelli has less than a car length over Scott Hansen. You can look back out of the side camera here. You can see Scott Hansen looking to the outside as they head down in the corner.
Right up alongside. Hansen goes around Corelli and grabs the lead. So last year's winner of this race, Scott Hansen in the Kenny Schrader Chevrolet, grabs the point. Glenn Jarrett, what's going on?
Well, he can't do much about it right now, guys. Corelli has radioed in the car. It's very, very loose. They did not make enough of a stagger adjustment, and as the racetrack gets slicker and greasier, rear end keeps slipping and sliding on that number 6 Chevrolet. So they want another caution, get a chance to tighten that thing up, but very loose right now.
Scott Hansen has the combination for the moment, at least. Still a long way to go. Here at Phoenix International Raceway, it's Hansen and Corelli. Jim Englebright hanging in there in 3rd. Then Sean Monroe, M.K. Kankey, and the Deuce of Craig Rodman. Now, Rodman is third in series points, had an outside shot at the championship. Here's the point leader, sitting in 17th, making 18th spot right now. Brian Germoni in car number 5. Steve Burns.
And Rick, we're with the crew chief, Roger Bracken. Roger, you guys seem to be having some problems. What's wrong?
First, I'd like to say thanks for NASCAR for putting this wonderful race on. Thanks to our sponsors, Coca Corporation. We wouldn't have as good a team and our team members. Problem with our cars, we lost a cylinder on the get-go, and he's just out there riding it out right now. It appears that we still doing fine. The other guy in the points, he's also having problems, so I think we're going to be just fine on this.
All right, thanks, Roger.
Germoni at the moment 18th, needs to finish 26th. They're better to clinch, and as long as he can stay in there, he's okay. But if you're down a cylinder, that doesn't necessarily mean he'll be around at the finish, does it?
No. There's always, when you're a cylinder down like that, there's a reason for it. And there's usually floating parts in a motor that goes out like that. So hopefully it does not create a problem that'll take him out.
Now, as we stand at the moment, Germoni 119 points to the good as he gets lapped again by Hansen, the leader in the 52. Remember that this is the final race of the season for these cars, so Germoni just needs to finish 26th or better. He's lost a couple of spots as he is down a cylinder. Chris Rodman has gained a few, but not nearly enough. He would need to win the race and have Germoni finish in 26th. That would be a tie. So at the moment, Germoni looking very, very strong with 85 miles to go.
Trouble right in front of the leader there. You can see Scott Hansen go right down under the yellow line there to get by.
John Cox in the 66, the car that went around coming into turn 1. He was running up in 14th spot, 6 career victories on the tour. Cox backs it into the turn 1 wall. We're under caution once again. Just a case of the track being a little too slick down there, I guess.
Boy,
buddy.
I tell you what, it certainly was. And Brian Germoni was right in that group right there. That could have took him out of the points race right there.
As they come back to the line, the waving caution, not racing too hard back to the stripe. Hansen stays ahead of Corelli. But this will give Corelli a chance perhaps to come in on pit road, make some adjustments, try to tighten that race car up once again. We'll show it to you. This is how it happened down into turn 1. Cox in the yellow and red car looked like he might have had a little help there.
He had a lot of help there getting into turn 1. But look at the leaders. They all turn left. You can see the Brian Germoni there leading in the point standings. He went right with Corelli on the bottom part of the racetrack. No harm, no foul there. Ooh. But I tell you what, that's a pretty good lick going into that corner. And right at that place there, that's that Baker boy.
John Baker from Tucson, Arizona in the 18. Looks like he got into the back end of the 66 John Cox. Not one of your kin, I guess.
Well, no. But I tell you this. That can happen getting into that corner. The sun is beginning to be a problem. Getting into turn 1, there's a lot of glare down there, and a car on the outside. You can't see the quarter panel starting off in that corner. I'm sure he did not mean to run into it.
We are under caution. The leaders coming down onto pit road. Hansen in the 52 is your leader. The 6 with Corelli second. The 20, Jim Engelbrecht. You can see him just in the corner of your screen there a moment ago. The yellow machine is third. So the leaders coming down onto pit road. Let's cover the pit stops. Len Jarrett.
And once again, Rick Corelli comes in. And guys, as we were talking, they're going to change the left side tires this time. Corelli had already gotten into pits. They were still adjusting air pressure on the tire that they're going to put on the left rear. What they're doing is pumping that tire up to reduce that stagger. So he's down and away in 14.3 seconds, Rick.
Meantime, we look at Scott Hansen. Fuel going in, left side tires going on that car. Doesn't look like any adjustments are being made. Strictly a stagger adjustment, perhaps?
They're just making sure they get all the fuel in there. You can see Hansen back underway there when he dropped the jack there. And look who he beat out. He's still in the lead over Corelli.
Gets off pit road first as Hansen, so he and Corelli will resume their top 2 spots. Several other cars stayed on the racetrack, but those 2 drivers, of course, on the lead lap. And there's the 23. Driver that ran up front earlier on, John Dillon from Boise, Idaho. He's had problems, wasn't able to stay up with the leaders, but at the moment we're showing him back in 7th spot. So Dillon has come back up through the field in the 23 car, and he may even restart a little closer to the front than that. He's being shown right now in 7th in the scoring charts. Brian Germoni, meantime, has come onto pit road in car number 5, the series point leader. We ride with Rick Corelli. There's Germoni coming to his crew's attention. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Rick, Brian Germoni wheels the number 5 into the pit stop. They're going to change left side tires on Germoni. They went right side last time. They're getting the windshield cleaned off. Buddy Baker talked about how nasty it's getting out on the track. And again, he's dropped the cylinder to clean the grill off to get more air into the front of the car. And they're having problems on the left rear getting it changed. It's been a rough afternoon. for the points leader, and the 93 of Chris Rodman is also in. They're going to go to the right side this time. Put some gas in the 93 of Chris Rodman. They've got the right side up. Again, cleaning the windshield. Lots of glare for these drivers here late in the afternoon in the bright Phoenix sun. They get the right sides on for Chris Rodman. Going to clean the right side of the windshield as well. They usually clean over the driver's side of the windshield, but Chris Rodman is finally down and away in second place in the points.
105 miles complete. We've got 81 trips to go around the Phoenix International Mile here this afternoon. Crafton will be the restart leader. We'll be back at Phoenix. Go back to Phoenix International Raceway. Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker with you today. The NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour. Troubles on pit road. Steve Burns, what's the situation down there?
Yeah, with our points leader, Brian Germoni, with the crew chief, Roger Bracken. You were in heavy conversation with the NASCAR official. What'd they say, Roger?
Well, it appears that we got one of our laps back that we lost, and they held us so that they could take the lap back. And we're still just 2 laps down, so everything's just fine. They done what they needed to do to get the laps right.
Green flag in the air. 81 laps to go. The leaders are down into turn 1. Scott Hansen has the point. Rick Corelli is second. Buddy Baker after pit stops. It'll be interesting to see if Corelli can get up there and make a run at the lead again.
Well, he's going to have to go pretty hard right now. Scott Hansen's really on the go. As you see him right there in the Bud car, he's going to be patient, though. This driver knows how to win. He's not going to do anything stupid on restarts here. But you can see Corelli's caught him as they head off down turn 4.
The main straightaway. Hansen and Corelli. Lap traffic to the inside. Heavy glare because the sun is dropping lower and lower, as Buddy has talked about. Heavily into the shadows in turn 1 and 2. Now up onto the back straightaway. There's Hansen, the green nose of the Skoal 52, the Skoal Budweiser machine. In the Kenny Schrader shops, he is your leader. Corelli with Engelbright right there, coming into 3, second and third. And look at Sean Monroe in the 48. He stuck the nose of that car down inside the Wonder Bar machine. Yeah, heavy contact.
Engelbright almost went around in the 20, the yellow car there. I'm telling you, he was just about to spin coming off turn 4. Sean Monroe got into the back of him just a little bit.
That is the fight for third. Engelbright, the early leader. He is strong now. I wouldn't count him out of this thing yet by any means. And there's the 87, M.K. Kanke, who's carrying one of our onboard cameras. He is up to 5th. Engelbright only a second behind Monroe. Takes a look to the outside as they come under the Goodyear Bridge.
You can see Sean Monroe taking a little different angle off turn 4. As they go down into turn 1, the windshields are good right now. It's not all that bad. But as they get a little bit of oil and grease on them, I'm going to tell you, trouble on the front straightaway.
Heavy contact with the wall down here on the main chute. The 18 car in the wall. That's John Baker from Tucson, Arizona. He was involved in the John Pox imbroglio just a few laps back when Pox got into the wall. But Baker into the wall hard, hit the outside fence first, and crossed over and pounded the inside concrete. So he was running up in the 20th spot. He's okay. He's dropped the window net, taking the gloves off, but a heavy lick into the wall.
Absolutely. The front of that car moved back about 3 foot. You can see parts of the body panels there torn off the car. He hit the inside wall extremely hard, but the right side of the car got into the wall hard coming off turn 4.
Pretty narrow front straightaway here at Phoenix, and there you see, as we take a look back toward 4, there was the 18 getting up into the outside wall.
Yeah, you see all the dust off the wall, and this is the end results. As he crossed over, he hit almost head on the inside wall.
Scott Hansen is your leader. Rick Corelli is second. 74 miles to go.
Yeah, you could see the flag with the cross marks on it. That meant the pit road was closed as the flag was out there. But they're working on getting everybody over to the wrecked car right now.
Leaders still on the racetrack because pit road is closed. Meantime, what's the situation with the leader, Scott Hansen, Steve Burns?
Rick, there's problems on the 52 car of Scott Hansen. On the last stop there on the caution, they put left sides on, but they did not get enough gas in the car. They're having problems with the gas can. They only got 15 gallons, they think, in the last stop, so you're going to see him probably back in here to top it back off.
Wow, that could cost him a lot of track position.
Yeah, that's big right there. The track position's so important here, and once you get back, it's so hard to get by lap traffic. It could take him out of contention.
There's John Baker out of the race car and going across the wall onto pit road, telling everyone he is just fine. It'll take a few moments while the 18 car is put on the back of a wrecker and taken off the speedway here. Adds into the 52 out in front. There's Corelli in the 6, Engelbright in the 20, Monroe in the 48. And M.K. Kanke has come up through the pack and gotten into 5th spot. So the players have settled out just a bit as we're in the second half of the action here this afternoon at Phoenix International Raceway. On board with Rick Corelli. Let's head back to pit road. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, there's a guy standing here that I'm really glad to see. You just took a heck of a lick. John Baker, what happened out there?
I don't know. I guess I just got pinched up a little bit and brushed the wall and came back off of it and got sideways there. So we were racing pretty hard up in there.
Hard lick, but you are okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good to hear that. I'll tell you guys, standing right in front of it, that was a hard lick. Steve Burns?
And Scott Hansen is going to come back down to the attention of his victory. They're poised on the wall. They've got the jack now. They changed lefts the last time they came in. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the tires here. Again, we're under caution, so they can only change two, but they might go back to right side tires. Scott Hansen on his way here. The boss man, Kenny Trader, the car owner, he is watching. They are, in fact, going to put right side tires. They're putting the gas in. One of the crewmen told me for some reason they cannot get enough gas in. We'll check here in just a minute. Right now, let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And guys, Rick Corelli just left. When he saw Hansen come in, he followed him right down pit road because Rick was not happy with that set of right side tires that was on the car. Now, they changed left sides last time, and they only ran a few laps. They came back in and put more rights on this time, so they've got effectively a whole new set of tires on the car. He's hoping that will help to close up that stagger to make that car a little tighter so he can get around here the way that he was earlier today. But as soon as he saw Hansen come down, right in his tracks, he followed.
But I'll tell you, the guy who didn't make a pit stop was Jim Englebright. He's going to gain a lot of track position. He has not pitted. Englebright will be your restart leader when we come back to Phoenix International Raceway. Play the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour on TNN Motorsports. Glad to have you with us for the RE/MAX 300 today. About ready to go green. Let's head down to pit road. Steve Burns.
And Rick, we're with Ken Schrader, the car owner for Scott Hansen. Ken, we documented the problems with the gas can. The big question is, can you go the rest of the way?
They've assured me we have. Craig Smokestead and Lynn that take care of Scott's ASA deal all the time said we're fine, so I won't worry about it. They know what they're doing.
All right, thanks, Ken. Let's go back upstairs to Rick.
Jim Englebright will have the restart lead. Glenn Jarrett, they elected not to pit this last time.
Yeah, and his crew chief, Gil Melton, told me, Rick, that they were good to go. There was no point in stopping. They could make it on 2 stops, had enough fuel, and the tires were good. Jim liked the way the car felt, so what's the point in taking a chance, changing tires, and maybe messing up a handling? They like what they got.
Now, one driver who's quietly snuck into contention here, the Deuce and Craig Roudman. He was 3rd in series points coming in. Brian Germoni has eliminated him from championship contention by starting the race today. It's down to Germoni and Chris Roudman at this point, although neither driver is having a very good afternoon. But Craig Roudman could end up stealing the victory here.
Well, Craig Rodman, he builds these cars. He bought the chassis rights from Ron Hornaday, who made these Victory Circle chassis. And, yeah, he knows what he's doing. Car works well, and he's not out of this thing by any means.
He has raced very smartly here this afternoon. Started 18th. Has moved to 2nd spot, knocking on the door with Englebright. Pace car's in. Green is out. 119 laps getting started right here as the leaders take it down into turn number 1. Battling deep in the pack as we look for Hansen and Corelli as they try to march up through there. Corelli starts back in the 8th spot. Hansen restarts 7th right behind Ronnie. Up onto the back straightaway and down into turn 3.
You notice that they start back on single file restart, so and really track position, even though you're 7th in the running, sometimes you're 20th on the restart. So these guys have a lot of ground to make up, and as you can see, Englebright and them are out going away right now, and these guys are trying to get through lap traffic. So Corelli and all of them have their work cut out for them.
Got a glimpse there of the 07 of Ron Eaton, the great veteran from Tucson, or rather from Washington State, winners in Tucson. Eaton very strong here at Phoenix as always. Leaders coming off of turn 4. Troubles a moment ago for the 4 of Bruce Bechtel. He clipped the wall coming down to the restart. There you see him on the left side of your screen. Bounced up on the wall. Kept it pointed in the right direction. A lot of cement smoke there. Cement dust. He came down over the stripe. 66 trips to go around the Phoenix Mile today. There's Corelli. Sean Monroe traveling with him right now.
Well, what Sean Monroe wants to do right now, stay with Corelli. As they look in the mirror and see Corelli coming up, some of these guys recognize that paint job. They've run against him for years and years, and they'll move over, and Sean Monroe can take advantage and go with him.
Hansen there. We got to look at Hansen. He is 6th right now after the pit stops under caution. There's Rick Crawford in the 15, still in contention, back in 9th. Pack starting to sort itself out again now after we go green. There's Crawford. 73 car, Mark Reed with him there, and Brian Germoni, the series point leader, 22nd right now. Needs to finish 26th or better to clinch. He is on pace to do that.
You can see he's running right by himself, not in a big pack of traffic. He's running the way to come by. It sounds pretty bad.
And here's Engelbright in the 20. This is the battle for the lead. Engelbright in the yellow machine is out in front. He led early on. He was the pole sitter here today. And the deuce of Craig Rodman right behind him, about 5 car lengths back as they hit turn 3. Engelbright pretty high there.
Very, very high. What he's doing right now, apparently the racing groove is moving up right now, and the bottom part of the racetrack is getting slicker and slicker. They're looking for a place for the car to hook up right now. You change your driving style as you go along, and that's the one good part about running the Bias-Ply tire. You can change your line and drive it and try to adjust on the racetrack itself.
Rodman is tracking down Engelbright. They may have made a mistake thinking he was set to go to the end of the race without changing anything on that car.
Well, I know one thing right now. They better get going because back behind them a storm's brewing. You can see the 52 there. Scott Hansen. He's moved through the traffic now. He's got some clear racetrack before he gets to the next batch of cars, and he's moving much quicker than Engelbright and the guys up front.
Hansen appears to be hooked up, just moving by Ron Eaton in the 07 car to take 5th. So Hansen is 5th, Eaton is 6th, and now Corelli back in 7th. Corelli can't seem to gain any ground. Glenn Jarrett, what's the situation where you are?
Well, I stayed down in Engelbright's pit, guys, and the reason, we said that they were good to go, but they didn't feel like they had a car capable of beating Hansen and Corelli anyway with tires. So if they pitted and came out behind them, they weren't going to catch them anyway. What they were hoping to do was put enough distance between them and the rest of the field, Rodman included, that they would have to run them down on the racetrack and hope they could beat them by sheer number of laps. Didn't work out that way, though. I think Hansen is definitely going to catch everybody. He is on the move.
Hansen, though, has his hands full. Ron Eaton isn't giving up at all. Eaton almost got by a moment ago as they raced out of turn 2. Now Hansen breaks free of the lap traffic and opens back up 7 or 8 car lengths on the machine of Ron Eaton as we jump on board with Rick Corelli trying to get back in the hunt. Corelli very strong in the mid portions of this thing. Led a lot of laps, but now he's back in 7th.
Look at Craig Rodman there in the 2 car. He is moving very, very well. If anything, he's closing in on Engelbright as we speak. He has a great run off the corners. He heads down straight away. You can see he's less than a car length back.
Rodman taking a look on Engelbright as they hit turn number 1. Engelbright very smooth in car number 20. Former motorcycle racer, you were telling me before, buddy. So Engelbright very strong in the car control department. Anybody who's raced bikes has to have a great touch.
Boy, he has to feel very secure to have 4 wheels instead of 2 up under him. That thing will stand by itself, that race car. That motorcycle wants to fall all the time.
Craig Rodman in the black number 2 all over Engelbright right now. 59 laps to go. Here at Phoenix International Raceway. RE/MAX 300 to wrap up the Southwest Tour season. We'll be back with more. International Raceway. We've had a spin up in turn 2, but it does not look like the caution will come out. The 23 is John Dillon, who had run up in the top 3 for much of the early portion of the race. Dillon had missed his pit stall earlier, still sitting 13th out of Boise, Idaho. He twirled it up in 2, got it gathered up and goes in the right direction, and no caution. So the strategy of the leaders will not have to change.
Well, you can see the car getting very loose off turn 4 there. The tires have to be extremely hot after that long slide he had down in middle of turns 1 and 2. But you see he's back up to speed again. Didn't worry him too much. No contact. All he did was spin around.
John Dillon in the Transparts Northwest Chevrolet. We'll show it to you one more time. This is turn 2 now. He's way high.
He's way high, and he gets in the loose stuff on the outside there. When I say loose stuff, that's what we call the marbles. That's rubber buildup and dust up there. The car gets around. You see him spinning towards the inside. You can see the wheels are still moving on that car, though. He did not lock them up. Now he's all the way locked up.
Nice job of driving there by the 23, by the pilot John Dillon. Gets it pointed in the right direction. He's back on the racetrack now, but lost a lot of track position in that battle. Engelbright still is your leader. Chris Rodman is 2nd. And let's take a look at the battle a little deeper in the pack. This is Hansen in the 52. He's 4th. Ron Eaton is 5th, staying right with him. Let's go to pit road. Steve Burns.
Yeah, Rick, Ron Eaton's had a great run. I just talked to his crew chief, Kurt Meyer. He said they don't plan on stopping again. They're good on tires, good on gas, and he said Ron feels very comfortable in the race car right now.
ought to be. He's had plenty of miles on this racetrack. Ron Eaton, 60 years young and fine race driver.
Let me tell you something. Age has nothing to do with it. Ron Eaton's doing exactly what he wants to do. He told me he's been very lucky in business in life. He plays golf in the winter, down in Tucson, races in the summer. You can see it pays off for him. He's still very good.
Sounds like quite a game plan for life to me. Down into turn one. Eaton, dogging Hansen as they battle for fourth. Hansen slipping up high there. Eaton may be handling it a little better.
I think he is right now. And Ron Eaton has great race cars. I drove for him way back, I mean like 15, 20 years ago, and he had good cars.
Eaton and Hansen going at it hard for fourth spot. We were talking how we thought Hansen might have more than enough race car to get back up to challenge for the lead, but so far he hasn't been able to get anywhere near Jim Englebright. Hansen at the moment about 3 seconds back. There's your leader Englebright onto the back straightaway. Long way back to Rodman in second spot in the deuce.
Well, Craig Rodman kind of made a run there, and he got hung up with the lap traffic there a little bit and dropped back about 15 car lengths. But Scott Hansen is closing in as we speak. He's gotten it down to about a 5-second lead, and he was 15 seconds back.
There's the point situation as we now stand. Germoni, the series point leader, needs to finish 26 to lock it up. The two Rodman brothers tied now for second spot the way things are going here. The 93 car, Chris Rodman with motor problems, ignition problems. He's been really sour all day. M.K. Kenke there in the 87 who's been strong as well. But he dropped back to 11th spot now. So Kenke not as quick as he was about 30 or 40 laps ago.
Not quite, but you could see just a second ago now the sun is really becoming a problem down the front straightaway. You could see through the in-car camera there that you're getting to the point where you count 7 and turn left.
Driving by touch rather than by eyesight. Rick Corelli still strong, not quite strong enough. He's sitting 6th. Down into turn 3 as we ride with him. Glenn Jarrett, what's the situation down there?
Well, I came up and asked if the car was still loose, and Rick Wren said that he hadn't said anything. However, he motioned to me that he was closing, so I put the watch on him, and he is indeed closing on the leader, Jim Englebright. He has cut nearly 2 seconds off Englebright's lead in the last 15 laps. Right now, he's turning about 0.15 of a lap to 0.2 of a lap quicker than what the leader is, so he's coming.
Corelli 4.6 seconds back right now, running by himself in 6th spot.
Let's take a look at Corelli going down through the corner. You see him turning the steering wheel there, trying to get the maximum grip in the corner. Now on the straightaway, you can see his hands very still on the steering wheel. Now it goes in the corner. You can see him really touching that car, getting into the corner there, making sure that he keeps good traction. I don't see any loose condition on the car. He's not fighting back to the right. Once they get loose, the back tries to come around there, jerking the wheel to the right. So the car looks pretty good now.
Rick Corelli very smooth in the saddle in car number 6. Race sponsor Remax trying to bring home a win for his team and his sponsor. We've got 43 miles to go at Phoenix. The Remax 300, quite a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and Scott Hansen has jumped back into 2nd spot.
Yeah, he's coming on like a windmill right now. The car is working very well. He got by Rodman just a second ago. Ron Eaton made a run on him, and I thought he was going to get by Hansen, but it's kind of stabilized now, but these guys are really going at it.
Eaton, though, meantime, has gotten 3rd away from Craig Rodman. So Rodman, who was 2nd, dogging the race leader Jim Englebright just a short time ago, he's fallen back to 4th spot, and now Hansen has pulled away from that battle. So Scott Hansen may well have something for the leader here as the laps wind down. We've got 39 to go.
Well, he's got to turn it up. I'll tell you one thing. Englebright's waiting on no one. He's going very well. You can see these cars now coming through the flat part of the corners here. You can see Scott Hansen there in the 52. Car looks very, very stable. He's able to get back in the throttle when he wants to. It's turning well. Hey, we're going to have a great race all the way to the finish.
One driver we want to talk about briefly, a driver in the field today. This is Kurt Busch in car number 70, the Star Nursery Chevrolet. That's the ride of Chris Trickle, who was so strong here 1 year ago. You know the story. Chris Trickle was shot tragically in Las Vegas just after the turn of this year. Busch, taking over the car, has done a nice job. We understand that Chris Trickle's health is starting to improve. He's come out of his coma on the road to recovery as a piece of bodywork flaps there on the right front corner of the 70 car. But it's great to see that car in competition, and great news about Chris Trickle this weekend.
Absolutely. That's the best news of all. We understand he did come out of the coma, and that is such good news because I've had the fortune to know him, and I also watched him race, and he was a great driver, and it's good to hear that he's getting better.
Kurt Busch is 12th, as a matter of fact, and on the lead lap, so he's turned in a good ride right now. The Deuce, Rodman in 4th spot. Tony Tost in car number 19. Haven't talked much about him today. Your old buddy. He's up to 5th spot.
Yeah, he's doing a great job there. You can see down the straightaway he's pretty good. But Rick Corelli is the one we need to talk about. They're in the 6th car. He's now getting very, very close to Rodman, and you can see the car is very quick down the straightaway.
We're on board with Corelli back in the 6th position. Sean Monroe directly behind him in 7th, but he's got Tony Tost to contend with now, who's 5th.
Oh,
and Engelbright, the leader. The leader of the race bounces off the wall up at 3. He's got problems. He can't steer the car. He's done heavy damage to the left side of the Wunderbar Chevrolet. Engelbright on pit road.
Tremendous damage to the right front corner of that car. You can see the wheel itself kind of buckled under. You can see where the headers and all are rubbing. Too much damage on the right side. I'd say Engelbright's pretty much done for chance of winning today.
Caution on the speedway. Engelbright bounces off the concrete up between 3 and 4. His bid comes to an end. Crew taking a look, but as Buddy called it, I think the right front corner of that car is pretty much gone. We're going to show you, well, we won't show you the replay yet. First, let's go to pit road. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, we speculated he might have cut a right front tire. That is exactly what happened. Terrible break. Everything going well for him. We're talking about what a great job he's doing. Ran over something on the racetrack, cut the tire. They're going to try to get him back. They got him down and away. Remember, these are fiberglass bodies. Oh, he's dragging something pretty hard, throwing a lot of sparks there. These are fiberglass bodies. Sometimes the damage looks worse than it is, but they're going to bring him back in. NASCAR says so.
Glenn, we can see the car from up here, and the right front corner's gone on the car. It looks like it may have broken a ball joint or something because it's dragging all the way around the racetrack. He's turning in as we speak.
So Engelbright won't even bother to try to get it back around the racetrack. Let's take one more look. Here he is in turn 3. Way high.
Oh.
Can't save it. Engelbright 2 times was the leader today and had led 80 laps. So a tough end to a great afternoon. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, we've got the tire that came off the thing, and if you can see this right here, that's the center line of the mold mark of the tire. That's still on it, so the tire was not worn at all. Still a lot of rubber left on it. He just ran over something and cut it. Rick?
Engelbright stopping down in the infield, taking the helmet off. We'll be right back. Our Featherlight Southwest Tour, the season finale, Remax 300K, and Scott Hansen will jump to the front of the class, and he'll be your restart leader with 34 miles to go. Field coming to the green flag. We're back underway.
Boy, what a great restart for Scott Hansen there. It looked to me like everybody else was caught napping there. He must have a 20-car left lead as they go down the back straightaway.
Ron Eaton will take over 2nd spot. Craig Rodman restarts 3rd. Then Tony Tost and Rick Corelli. Field scrambling there out of the 2nd corner. We talked about Hansen. He won this race a year ago. He has 3 career Southwest Tour wins, all of them at Phoenix. He loves this racetrack. Rick Corelli in love with things, too. Gets by Tost for 4th.
I'm playing drifter there in the 6th car. I'm telling you right now, he's already up to 4th and moving like nobody else on the racetrack. That car is a lightning rod out there right at the moment. You see Rodman there. It won't take him very long to get by him, I don't think. Corelli is really running well.
Rodman was quick 30 laps ago, but since then has not been able to keep up the pace. Corelli dives low into 3. Can't make a move. See what he can do here coming off of turn 4.
Okay, you can see Rodman there as he starts off the corner. The car looked to be a little bit loose, but I tell you what, he's got good straightaway speed. You see Corelli not able to close on him on the straightaway.
So that battle for 3rd spot up in turn 2. Meantime, the former race leader standing by with Steve Burns.
Yeah, Rick, with Jim Engelbright. Jim, I know you're disappointed. Gosh, you had such high hopes for this race.
Yeah, you know, the Wunderbar Arizona Beverage Control car was running good. We were just kind of pedaling it out there, you know, and my guys was letting me know what Scott was doing, and we were kind of holding around, and, you know, I don't know, we must have got something in turn 3.
You think it was a tire then?
Yeah, you know, we weren't really laying on the car too hard. It had more, but I was just kind of saving it in case we needed a race right there at the end, but I don't know. I just turned the wheel, and it just kept going straight.
Sorry, James, up break.
That's one of those things. We'll be back next year.
So Jim Engelbright is done for the afternoon. He was leading when the tire went down and sent him into the wall. Ron Eaton in the 07 meantime. Tony Tost there at the 19 with Sean Monroe battling for 5th. Monroe off the pace. He's down on pit road with some problems. comes down and stops the 48 car. Well, he's on his way to his pit stall. Hasn't stopped it as yet. He's pitted fairly far down pit road here. Third here back during the Copper Classic in February. Monroe was running in fifth. Had been up as high as third earlier in the day. They bring the car to a halt. Meantime, there's Hansen, your leader. About a 1.8 second lead right at the moment over Ron Eaton.
You know, we talked about Surfer Dude earlier in the 48 car there, Sean Monroe. And now I think whatever it was that was smoking has finally run out of what it was smoking with. I think the grease is kind of gone.
Battle here. Corelli all over Roudman for third spot. Let's find out more about Sean Monroe. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Guys, it appears to be the rear end. There's a lot of black, greasy, grimy stuff on the TV panel, the back deck of the car, and there's a lot of smoke. That's where the smoke's coming from the rear end. So I would suspect that all along that smoke we were seeing, rear end grease leaking out of that thing. Yeah, I smell that smell now, buddy. You know what that is, don't you? He's done for.
They've shut the car off, so unfortunately it looks like Sean Monroe won't be around at the end either. Here again, the battle for third spot. Roudman in the deuce, Corelli in the six. Looking outside down the back straightaway.
Let me tell you, Glenn was talking about rear end grease, and when that starts smoking like that, it'll gag a buzzard. I'm going to tell you, it's pretty ugly smelling.
A distinctive smell, as we often say. Roudman down into turn one in that two car, hanging on nicely to third spot. Look at Corelli taking a peek inside in the six. Corelli trying to get around and maybe able to do it this time.
Well, he's going to have to earn it. You see him going through the dog leg on the back straightaway. Corelli gets it going into turn three up there. But I tell you what, Roudman fought him hard.
He sure did, and he hasn't given up yet. Glenn Jarrett, what are they saying in Corelli's pits?
Well, they're loose again. He's having to fight really hard just to get by Roudman. I don't think he's going to have anything left for the rest of them because the car got really loose after that restart. He was coming on pretty good there for a while, but loosened up again. So he'll probably have to settle for third. He might catch Eaton. I don't think so, though.
25 miles to go at Phoenix. Sean Monroe, the crew, able to get the car running again. He's down and away. Your leader is Scott Hansen. Back with more at Phoenix in a moment. National Raceway late stages of the RE/MAX 300K. Scott Hansen perhaps on his way to his second straight win in this event. His fourth overall here at Phoenix in the Ken Schrader Racing Chevrolet. He has done a great job today. He's got a big lead, coming up on 4 seconds now over Ron Eaton as he moves by the 93 of Chris Roudman. Quite a story there, too, as we watch Hansen put Roudman another lap down. Roudman was the only driver in the 93, the defending series champion, who had a shot at taking this year's title away from Brian Germoni. We told you how Germoni needed to finish 26th or better today. Right now, Buddy Baker, it looks as though Germoni's got it because there are only 26 cars left on the speedway.
Don't even say that. I listened to Germoni when he come by the front straightaway just a second ago. That car sounds like a pea thrasher. I've never heard a car that's missing anymore. He's having a terrible time with the car. Hopefully he'll be able to make it. But I tell you, he's on about 4 cylinders now. It does not sound good.
9 laps to go. Germoni trying to hang on. Never knew what a pea thrasher sounded like before.
Well,
Thanks for enlightening me.
When he comes by, you can hear it. I mean, it really sounds pretty rough.
There's Germoni just taking it easy. The 23 of John Dillon going by on the outside there. Germoni, who started 15th, he is sitting 20th. As we say, needs to finish 26th or better to clinch. And really, it's almost a moot point in that regard, too, because if he finished 26th, Roudman would have had to win. Well, Roudman is nowhere near winning in the 93 car. He's a spot behind Germoni in 21st. So, for all intents and purposes, we can say that Brian Germoni is the 1997 NASCAR Federalized Southwest Tour champion, I think, at this point.
Don't put the hex on the man. I tell you, well, no, I know race cars, and I know how quick they'll stop when they have a problem.
Rodman would have had to win, and Rodman's got no chance at all.
You can bet on that.
So Germoni looks very, very strong. And as we say, we counted cars. It looks as though there are only 26 cars left on the racetrack. So at worst, he could finish 26th if our count is correct. Couple of laps to go as we see Hansen move by down into turn one. They put 180 laps on the scoreboard of 186 today.
How about Ron Eaton running there in second place in the red car, the 07? What a great run. 60 years old, doing what he loves to do. Let me tell you something. That makes everybody in the Geritol camp feel a little bit better.
It's nice to see. He has been around a long time. He is a class act, a strong competitor everywhere. He's run Winston West. He has just about done it all on the left coast of the United States. He has turned in a great effort here today as well. From 11th to 2nd, there's Hansen, your leader, coming up on the 87 of MK Kankey. Hansen down the back straightaway. Goodyear Bridge. He's got Kankey in front of him now. Hanson's got some lap traffic to negotiate here. 5 to go this time around. 5 to go.
This is when you start hearing things in a race car. You can see right there it's not over yet. He's still got to get by this lap traffic, run good lines. Now you see him cutting under cars, going in between two down the back straightaway. I tell you, he's racing like he's behind right now.
He's got 3.5 seconds over Eaton, I would think, with a couple of laps left. The main thing you'd want to do is keep the car off the wall.
Well, you can see right now Scott Hansen has the rhythm. The car slips a little bit there in turn 4, but he knows that one thing, if you ever break the rhythm, you get into a good rhythm, and you get to running 100%, if you back off to 50%, you make a mistake.
There is a big chunk of body work that has fallen off one of the cars that's on the main straightaway here as we come down 3 laps to go last time by. Hansen, the ASA standout, driving for Ken Schrader Racing in the ASA Series. Couple of wins there in 1997. Not a title, but a strong season for Hansen, looking to put a big win on the board here today.
Charlotte the Pig riding along with Scott Hansen on the roll cage there. That's a good luck. I guarantee you one thing, Scott Hansen will have that pig in the car every time he races from now on.
Yeah, bacon will be served tonight, no doubt about it, as Hansen moves down the back straightaway. White flag should be in the air next time around, as the field took the 2 to go sign last time by. 3.6 seconds the margin. Hansen with the lead over Ron Eaton right now. Eaton moving through turn 3, and there is the white flag in the air as Hansen comes down the main straightaway, moving by John Cox. His crew did a great job to get the 66 back on the track because he had hit the wall earlier as well.
Well, right now you can see that Scott Hansen is going down the back straightaway. He's changed a little bit now. He'll hold up a little bit. He's not running quite as hard as he was. What a great line there. Never making a mistake. And that's the one thing Scott Hansen's famous for.
Hansen out of turn number 4. Coming down to the stripe for the final time. Checkered flag is in the air, and Scott Hansen for the 2nd straight year has won the RE/MAX 300 here at Phoenix International Raceway. Now let's look at Brian Germoni. Look at that gaggle of cars. Germoni to the inside. He'll come down and take the flag. And Brian Germoni has clinched the 1997 NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour Championship. Germoni comes home in 20th spot. Chris Rodman finishes 21st. Craig Rodman, who is 3rd in the point standings, finishes 4th today. Germoni gets the 26th or better that he needs, and he is your champion in the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour. The champion this weekend in Phoenix is Scott Hansen. When we get back to Phoenix International Raceway, we'll talk to the winner. International Raceway, Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, and Steve Burns with us. Scott Hansen ready to come out of the Budweiser Skoll Chevrolet and accept the applause for winning his 2nd straight RE/MAX 300. A little trouble.
He drives better. He drives better than he climbs.
Great run for Scott Hansen. Let's meet the winner.
Oh, congratulations, Scott. And Buddy Baker said you drove a lot better than you climbed there. Had an awesome race car. I don't get to see you very often, but every year we meet here at Phoenix.
Sure do. You know, I love this racetrack. 3 in a row now for me here. Rode all day with a pig that I never thought I would. Kenny Schrader owns this deal, Kenny and Ann. I mean, we put their truck team guys together and some of my ASA guys together, and, you know, they were concerned about our fuel, but I'll tell you what, this Hamke car, they built this back in '92, I guess, and it runs like $1 million.
Well, it certainly did. Now, I want to ask you something. Look right here. Look how his name is, guys. Not too proud of Scott Hansen, but I know they are.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was my job security coming in here, but I think we got another race or 2 to go, and like I said, Goodyear tires, Penske shocks, Avco Racing Products, all my sponsors just been fantastic to me.
Well, congratulations again, and if I had this guy's talent, I'd never worry about job security.
Scott Hansen picks up another big victory today here at Phoenix International Raceway. Nice paycheck as well. This is a very rich race on the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour. Hansen, your winner. Ron Eaton comes home 2nd. Rick Corelli, Craig Rodman, and Tony Toast, your first 5. MK Kankey rides home in 10th spot today. We'll show you more of the unofficial results from the RE/MAX 300 here as we move along. And there's your 2nd 10. Brian Germoni clinching the title. He is also down on the main straightaway there to accept the applause of the crowd. He comes home in 20th spot, fighting a very ill race car much of the day here.
Great job. I don't know how the car made it. It was really missing pretty bad near the end, but congratulations to Brian Germoni. What a great run.
As we take a look at the final cars on the racetrack, 26 cars finishing today. Some of these the cars that did not make it very deep into the event today. The new champion is standing by with our Steve Burns.
And Brian Germoni accepting the congratulations. We see the champagne over there. Congratulations, champ.
Hey, thanks a lot. The Kofa Corporation car did really good all year long. Linda and Ron Kofer helped me out. It's been a great year. Roger Bracken, Perry Race Cars, Carrera Shocks, Jeff Hamner Motors. I mean, I go on and on and on. I know I left out somebody, but just I've been pinching myself the last couple laps, make sure it's okay. But just I really hated to finish the race like that. I really wanted to finish at Phoenix strong. We like coming here, but we lost a cylinder or something. But I guess we did what we had to do, and it feels really good.
Brian, you were second in the points last year. What did you guys do to get to this championship level?
Just digging the ditches that much harder. Just try that much harder. I mean, the team's really gelling right now, and things are, we're actually getting along right now. It's really good, and everybody just stepped it up a notch. We're just working harder, just harder and harder, getting better motors from Jeff Hamner. Phil Perry helping me out harder. Just it's been great. It's been really good.
All right, congratulations. We'll let you go celebrate with the team.
All right, thanks a lot.
Brian Germoni, your 1997 NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour Championship. Here's how the points stack up unofficially with the season complete. Their new season starts in January at Tucson Raceway Park. They'll be back here in February to run in the Copper World Classic. Brian Germoni by 101 points, the winner over Chris Rodman. Good race this afternoon, Buddy Baker.
Absolutely. I love the Southwest Tour. I like All Pro. I like these cars. I think they put on a great show, and congratulations to Scott Hansen. What a great drive.
Plenty of action all afternoon. Rick Corelli was stout today as well. Didn't quite come home with enough to win, but certainly put on a good show. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the RE/MAX 300, the season finale for the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Tour. We've certainly enjoyed bringing you coverage today of the RE/MAX 300 for the Featherlight Southwest Tour of NASCAR. They'll be back in action in 1998. Brian Germoni undoubtedly will be back to defend his championship. Our winner today, Scott Hansen for Ken Schrader Racing. We congratulate Scott Hansen and the Kenny Schrader team for that great victory today here at Phoenix. For Buddy Baker, Steve Burns, and Glenn Jarrett, I'm Rick Benjamin. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage today. We'll see you next time.